Sam, who is probably the most, we've made this point before, he is the most central, the most pivotal character in all of the Lord of the Rings, and he has no praises sung of him. It isn't, there isn't the song of Sam and the Great Burden Climb, Sam and the Battle of Cirith Ungol.
That'd be a good song.
It would be an amazing song. But the Gondorian bard only cares about Frodo of the Nine Fingers and the Tale of the Magic Ring. Sam doesn't care at all for the accolades. He doesn't want the songs to be sung of him, and neither does Frodo, really. But what is it that Sam first thinks of? Those of you familiar with the films will know this. After the task is done, and the ring is destroyed, and Sam and Frodo are lying there on the slopes of Mount Doom, thinking that the task is done, but nobody's come to save us. They don't know that the Eagles are coming for them.
Mm-hmm.
What is the first thing that Sam is thinking of? He thinks of the Shire. He thinks of the rolling green hills. He thinks of the flowers in the springtime. He thinks of Rosie dancing with ribbons in her hair, which is what every man thinks of as his lady love.
Mm-hmm.
And he imagines in the future the stories that will be told, children gathering around at their father's knee and begging, "Please, Father, please, Daddy, please tell us about Frodo and the magic ring." And it's Frodo who reminds him, "You've left out the most important character. You've left out Samwise the Brave."
Yeah.
Which this is a lesson in humility, because Frodo sort of laughs off everything that Sam is praising him with, and then says, "Remember, you're Samwise the Brave. You were brave when I wasn't, you had strength when I didn't. You were the bearer of the ring bearer," which gave him the heaviest burden of all. But in Sam's thought and his goals, all he wants is to go home. So put your family first. At the end of the day, come home the way that Samwise does, after leaving Frodo at the Undying Lands, or leaving Frodo with the elves to leave for the Undying Lands. There was a light in the window and a fire within. He goes inside, sits in his favorite chair. His wife brings him his dinner, and his little girl gets up and sits in his lap. And he leans back and says, "I'm back." That's what it's all about. And that's the life right there.
Can't say it another way, right? That's the life right there.
A beautiful wife, adorable children, delicious food, a warm fire in the hearth. Who cares how much money you've got? Who cares about anything else when you have a wife that loves you and children that adore you? So spend time with your family and cherish them and hold them close. Because if you think that you're not getting what you should be getting out of your family, there's at least a 50% chance that it's your fault.
You're the leader.
You are the one in charge. And I'm speaking to the men. So you go home, and when you go home, don't pull out your phone and start scrolling nonsense. Sit down and read your kids a story. If you got a voice, sing to them. If you play an instrument, play for them. Or talk to them. Or just play with them. Help your little 2-year-old boy build a tower, and then watch him knock it down, because that's what he's going to do. Let your almost 2-year-old son beat the crap out of you on the couch, because that's what my son does to me. Oh, and he hits hard. Oh boy, no UFC fighter has ever hit as hard as a 1.5-year-old, I can tell you. But they need that, just as much as you need it.
Mm-hmm.
They need your time and you need their time. So put them first in everything. And every decision that you make, the first thought in your mind should be, will this help them or harm them? Will this do anything for them? How can I help my family by doing this? If you happen to be job searching and you have to pick between 2 different jobs, and you've got one that pays more and one with less hours, more money or more time at home, there's an obvious choice there. You make the choice that is actually best for your children. And in some cases, that may mean having to take a job where you have to work harder and you have to work more just to be able to make the ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
But do that with the intention of only doing it for long enough that you can get to a place where you can be home more. No job is a dead end. At least should be.
You're getting the married man's perspective here from Ethan. And it's so well said. And I just think about the perspective of the guy who wants that, you know, God willing, which is mine. That's my perspective. You know, people could ask you, what is your vision for life? What would you like to accomplish in life? What do you really want in life? Do you know what you really want in life? It's important to know. What I want is what works. And what works is what works for my family. Like, I'm not at the center of that. What makes that family tick, that future family that I hope to have, to me, that's what matters most. If I gotta work a bunch more hours to make that a thing, so be it. If I get to work from home and be with my kids, cool, so be it. If I had to be the stay-at-home parent and my wife had to go to work because she was a doctor or something, I'm not saying this is the ideal, but so be it.
And that's
Like
what
I'm
has
still,
to be done, yeah.
because I'm still going to be fine with it because it's what's best for the family. Yeah, it's going to have its own set of challenges, obviously, but I'm not saying that you can't have a vision for what you want, that you can't have goals, that you can't go out and achieve them, that you can't have dreams. I have things that I think would be really cool to have in life. But if I get to pick between, you know, having land and being having a hobby farm and being a hunter and, whatever else I could come up with and having that family and providing for that family, I'm gonna pick the family every time. So, and this is what Sam does. Sam doesn't have a moment of final despair on that rock, on that slope, on the slope of Mount Doom at the end, with lava pouring down all around him, thinking that this is the end. He doesn't think about, all the things that I could have done. Dagnammit, I wish I'd done that. All is hell, all is meaningless, all is pain. He thinks of things that he wishes he could see again. There are things he wishes for, but he doesn't have regrets. And if given the chance, he'd go back and he would pursue Rosie and he would have a family. And he gets given that chance.
If I
But
was ever to marry someone, it would have been her.
yeah, that line.
The way he says it, he thinks he's going to die. He thinks this is it. And he weeps as he says it. But he isn't despairing. Because he knows there's still good men in the Shire, and even without him, she'd still find a good man. And maybe if you were to ask him, the one regret that he would have is not marrying Rosie before they left. But would he have left if he had married her?
God ordains all.
Everything happens as God has decreed, and in the order in which he has decreed it. Every word is written by the stroke of the author's pen, and by none other.
So, but yeah, his family is top of mind, top of priority. What does Sam do? Like you said, when they come back from seeing Frodo and Gandalf and Elrond off, I'm sure there would be a case for him to go pull a Hilaire Belloc and go to the local tavern and weep into a beer. I'm sure there would be a case where he'd just want to go find a good old mate and chat. I'm sure
Stop
there'd be a
off and just
case
have a
for
beer with Fatty Bolger.
Yep. I'm sure there'd be a case where he'd want to just go wander some gardens that he's tilled, or go sit under the malorn tree that he planted, and just contemplate and sit and wonder and process and all of these things, and be really sad and despair. And there's a time for being sad and grieving, obviously, and he has the journey back. But what does he do? He goes home. And in a way, he hangs his worries on the tree outside. Not actually, but he might have done that, as you've said so in the past.
Like they used to say. They said several decades ago, leave your problems in the car.
Yep. And where does his mind go? If his mind is the mind of the author, there was a fire in the hearth and dinner at the ready, and he was expected. That is what matters. The fire and the life of the hearth is what matters.